Okay, so in this video we're going over PowerShell Empire, how to customize it. There's kind of a twofold thing here. We're going to be compromising containers. If you've worked on containers, you know they're super castrated, not much on there. So this repo is on GitHub. I'll add a link here. And this is just where I'm going to start storing customized payloads, modules, fun things that are not in the Empire current GitHub. Okay, cool. So here's the current structure. Basically, I've laid it out just like it would be in Kali Linux. So you're going to have your Python file and your YAML. And then when we compromise containers, or even just Linux hosts that don't have Python, which would be rare, but containers don't, we're going to need a way to kick off Python. So we're going to build our own standalone. So far we have one for Alpine and 2 versions of Debian, Bullseye and Buster, and we'll actually go over how to do that. Okay, so let's go over our environment. I've actually got a cluster set up. We're going to compromise a Jenkins pod. Part of the PowerShell Empire module is going to require to have a file share server. When I say file share, I don't mean like FTP. This is actually just going to be done over HTTPS. So yeah, we'll get to that. But for right now, our lab is in a 3-node Kubernetes environment. Worker 1, Worker 2, and Master. All right, so let's pull up a few links. Let's do HTTP 10. Oops. I think it's 8080. Okay, cool. So we're going to go after this Jenkins server. But before we do that, let's go over how we've got this thing set up. Let's pull up Kali. If you watched the previous video, you know we've got 2 C2 redirectors set up and a listener. So we go to our listeners, edit. You know we're going after this domain. Well, this is our C2 domain, redirected through our 2 redirectors. We also have a Slack bot set up, so that way when we compromise it, we get notified. Okay, and then we have use module XMR, and here's our custom module. Basically, the file server is going to say, hey, this directory, this is where it all lives, and we have 10 total files we're going to pull. So if we actually do, like, you'll see in the Python file, but basically the torn file will separate the files into I think it's less than 1 megabyte file sizes, because PowerShell Empire will only allow 1 megabyte upload. So we kind of had to work around that. And then this is our wallet to our XMR wallet. Sorry, wallet address to our XMR wallet. So yeah, we'll work off of this. So let's actually scroll up, we're going to need our agent. Okay, and then we're going to use stager. Set our language to Python. Set our listener to our listener. Set safe checks to false, and set our user agent to that. Okay, looking at our options, everything looks fine, so let's generate it. Okay. Remember, we're piping this into Python, so we'll come back to this. Okay, so let's first start off by sniffing traffic to obtain a password. We'll try that. If I can remember the password right. Ooh, this might suck. Alright, so let's pull up Kali and get our Kali box set up. Okay, we're going to pop over the second window. And right now we're just going to use ettercap to listen. We're also going to dump a pcap file so we can do some traversing through Wireshark. So let's go ahead and kick this off. Okay, and while that runs, let's simulate some traffic. Let's say admin1 logs in. Oh shit. you get in? Ooh, it's taking forever. My assumption is that's because we are doing man in the middle on the network. Hey, he got in. Cool. So let's pull Callie back up. And after a while, we end it. Okay, we can review all this information, but this is a huge dump, right? I mean, just look at this shit. Like, anyways, we've got our PCAP dump. So, or yeah, let's run Wireshirt and take a look. Okay. So the first thing I'm going to do is, we already know our victim IP, but let's do a string filter for post. Okay. So yeah, right off the bat we can see we've got our IP we want. So IP.adder equals 10.0.20.233, and we got our post. So let's follow that TCP stream and see what we got. So, okay, cool. We have a few ways we can get in. We can see this string right here. We've got our username and password. We have admin1 and a password of I watch cops with no pants on 123 asterisk, and it looks like some Unicode or URL encoded characters. So if we need to figure out what those are, there's a few ways you can do it. I mean, if you have ASCII, oh, that's right. Just look at it that way. So the first one would be %28. So if we go to 28, that doesn't look right. Oh, I'm looking at decimal and hex. You want hex. This guy, 2829. So we know the password. Yes, we'll hang on to that. The other thing you can do is just take the cookie, right? So if we jump on over here and we inspect, and we go down to our storage. Hey, there we go. Let's go ahead and blow that one out. So we need JSession ID. Let's see if that works. Okay. 68. Ooh, is that wrong? CD8. Okay, cool, yeah. And then we just need the cookie. Save that, and let's just refresh. We should get in, assuming that was typed in right. Nope, was not. So let's go back here. Okay. Let's make sure these match. Yeah, they look like they match. So let's copy that. Okay. Give that a second to load. Hey, we're in. So no password, just use a cookie. Obviously, we're going to save those credentials for later, but for now we're good, right? Okay, so I already set up a temporary pipe. In fact, we're going to just go ahead and delete it because I'd rather do this from the get-go. Okay, and while that's loading, I guess we're already here. So new item, set up a new build because it is like a DevOps pipeline thing. We're going to do a pipeline for this guy, and we'll call it temp pipe 2. Go ahead and okay that. And I've actually got this stored in my help pen testers repo. You can just go in there and copy this guy right here. So now you have a pipeline to run with. Okay. Okay, so now that we're here, let's go ahead and throw in the pipeline. We do need our IP, so ifconfig 23. Okay, let's drop this over here. Now remember, this will be in plain text, so if you're trying to obfuscate traffic, maybe you'll want to go with something. I mean, in reality, you want to use your C2. However, we're going to bypass a lot of that right now because we already know Python's not on here. Well, we don't, but I do, right? So let's drop this into 80. Let's get our netcat listener listening. Okay, let's go and apply that and save it. Okay, now that that's saved, let's go ahead and build it. And we got a pipe, or a reverse shell. Okay, so first thing I do is I look at who am I, right? And our groups. Right off the bat, I can tell you Docker's gonna be the way in, right? Usually when it's a Docker container, it'll say like .docker end or something. In this case, I don't see that. So we can definitely upload different things, try that route. Anyways, let's see where Python is. We got nothing. Yeah, we could do like a find, right? Find / .type file -name python to dev null. Okay, so there's an abstraction we could look at, right? The other problem with doing the find though is it could take forever. It's not, you can't execute it. So we need to get Python on here. Let's go ahead and get Python on here, right? Do we have wget? No, do we curl? Oh, we do. Okay. The next step is you want to go to a directory you can execute from. Dev shmem once in a while won't let you. I've had horrible luck there. So temp works, especially since container, I mean, it's short-lived anyways, but you also don't want to be like dumping everything to disk, but it is what it is. So that's what we're going to focus on here. Obviously, you want your obfuscators and things like that to bypass protections, because even though we're in a container, they might have another deployment running that's monitoring for weird behavior. So let's just run with this. Let's get back onto our other host, because that's where I have it living right now. Okay, and we're going to go to the Python directory. And basically what happens is we have Alpine and Debian builds. If we go back to this guy, we need to see what we're running, right? Bullseye. So we're going to build for Bullseye. Now, if it didn't exist, I would modify the scripts and create one for that directory and git push, right? So in this case, we're going to build. I could build just this one, but we could also just build them all, right? So let's build Python. This is going to take a while, so I'm going to pause it and we'll be right back. But as you can see, it's going to build everything. So we'll be right back. And we're done. Okay. So what we need is Bullseye. We're going to follow the README, right? Let's hop on over here. Okay. And now we need to copy that. Yeah. Okay, looks good. Oops. Okay, megabytes. Yeah, so we're good. So basically what this is it's Python. Just compiled and stored in a directory. It's all tarred up. So now we just need to move it over. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to check my IP address. And we're going to set up a Python listener. Now I should be doing this in my Kali box, but since this is a lab, I really don't care. Okay. Oh, what was the IP address? Hang on. 154. Oh, already messed it up. Just dump it right here. could not resolve that host name. That's weird. Did I do that correct? Oh, you know what I think it is? Remote file name has no length. Man, I'm really messing up here. It might be a lower O. Yep, I was right. Okay, so let's unzip that. Okay, and once that's done, we will have Python locally on here. Okay, that's done. So if we look at temp.local Python, then Python 3, it exists. So let's go ahead and open this up. Actually, let's get a more decent shell. Okay, dump this in here, and then we're going to copy this out. And we'll drop and, no, there. Okay, so now we have a job running. Let's see if it kicked off. Hey, we got a new agent. So what we can do here is we can interact with it. And then there's modules coming, right? Right now we're just going based off of stock PowerShell Empire plus this one edition of XMR Miner. But what we could do is we could use a module. We could use Linux. There should be situational awareness. I'd really like to kick one of these off while it's running. Let's try Linenum? No. Unix proof checker. I cannot believe it's not here. That or I'm just spelling it wrong. Let's do enum. No. Linux. What about Unix? Yeah, let's do that one. Let's see what it does. Alright, let's just execute it and see what happens. And we'll see if it goes. Okay. Now that's going. Let's start. We already know there's Docker, so the privilege escalation is pretty straightforward. Because if I do Docker images, oh, I know why. Okay, sorry about that. I believe I know what happened there. I reverted my lab, so now it should be what I think it is. Okay, so basically we can run Docker commands. This is a known misconfiguration people do. They should not, but they allow the Docker socket to be executable from within a container. Bad move. So we're going to take advantage of that. Can we pull images? In reality, we probably could run one of these, but I'm just going to do Debian latest so we get an idea. So we can pull, so we'll go ahead and pull that. Okay, cool, that's done. Okay, so now what we're going to do is docker run rm-it. We're going to do, let's see, we're going to add a volume, and it's going to be the host file system, and we're going to mount that to the pods mount file system. Okay. Send it. The input device is not a TTY. So we're going to Control Z, that, ls. Okay. Shit, what is it? So we already got what we needed here, so I'm going to echo term. Let's copy this. Try running this one more time. This is not TTY. Alright, we need to fix that. Okay, let's do this. Oh, STTY-A. Okay, so we need STTY rows 49, columns 95. That should get us what we want. Oh, this is not liking me at all. Okay, the other thing we could do, oh, we could load it through Python, right? So let's do that. Okay, so temp.local Python, then Python 3 -c import pty.spawn bin bash. Okay, Control Z, send it, and then let's try that Docker command one more time. We just lost our shell. Damn it. Okay. Netcat. Okay. Build now. Let's see if local Python is here. It is. Okay, cool. So we're going to do the same thing we did before. If I could spell. Okay, bin Python 3 -c import pty spawn bash. Okay. Okay. Everything should work now. You know what? Before we do that, let's just see if we can get in. Docker images. -b mount Debian latest bash. Yes, we got it. Okay, so now we're going to cd to mount, and you're going to notice there's an entire file system. If we look at home, we can see the Ubuntu user. Cat etc star release star. It's an Ubuntu box. We are technically in. Since we are root, we could go to root and add an SSH key. We could also add Ubuntu to sudoers. Actually, let's take a look at that. They're just readme. Okay. So what we could do is we get it here. I'm just going to drop an SSH key onto... Actually, no, I'm not. Hang on. Sudoers. I mean, we could easily just do an SSH key on root, right? So let's do that. SSH keygen. Hey, we already got one. But we're going to use this for please delete me. Okay. Perfect. So we're going to cat that please delete me .pub, and we're going to throw that key into here. Okay, so we're going to echo that, SSH authorized. Yeah, okay. That's weird. Okay. Why is it... Hang on. I don't like that one bit. Uh-oh. That's not good. And that's the fun part of losing our shell. If you control C, you lose it all. So we need to build it again. Okay. That one died. Let's see. Okay, we need to kill this build. Because now we're in a frozen state. So let's go ahead and stop this one. Stop this one. Okay, let's temp. Okay. Okay. Alright, now that everything's cleaned up, let's build it again. Hey, look at that. Okay, so cd over to temp, and we're going to play this whole game again. So, temp, local python, then python 3-c, import pty, spawn, bin, dash. Okay, Docker images, Docker container. We'll probably just execute into that. I can't remember if this is going to do it right. Okay. We're in. Okay, cool. So wd cd mount cd root ls cd.ssh. Okay. So same thing here. We're gonna do echo -n. Actually, we don't need the -n, and I'm not gonna play that game. Basically, just removes new line characters, and it might screw us up. So now we need authorized keys. Okay. Okay. Cat authorized keys. I mean, in theory, it'll work, right? So now what we're going to do SSH -i. Please delete me. Root at 20.253. Hey, we're in a root. Now, what we're going to do, I'm going to do a few things. First, which Python. Ooh. Does the host? Okay, it does. Cool. So now we're going to drop our payload again. Come over here. Okay, now we should have an agent. We do. And it looks like that one died, which we know. Hey, we're root, so now we can do all sorts of stuff. This will work on a local user as well as root, but we can actually kick off the XMR miner. I'll show you what that looks like. Let's use interact with this guy, and then obviously if I'm here, I'm going to start enumerating, because now that I know I'm on a node, can we look at the rest of the cluster? Can we hop cluster? We could drop our own deployments to mount the host file systems of the other nodes of those pods and essentially compromise the entire cluster. I mean, right now we probably do. Like if I run a kubectl, on this, what do I get? Pods, all namespaces. Yeah, so, we've got access to everything. What about the nodes? And look at that, we are the control plane, so we can do whatever the hell we want. We're done. Supposedly if there was no like RBAC in place or something like that. But yeah, that's where we're at. We could look at secrets, all that fun stuff. For right now, I mean, we're here to showcase PowerShell Empire, so we're going to drop a minor. So let's come back over here. We're going to use a module, and we're going to use XMR. Okay, and we're going to execute. I'm going to warn you, when you drop this, you are going to lose access because there is no, and the output never ends, so we're going to lose access. So execute that, and if we jump back over here, we can see the miner has downloaded and kicked off. We are missing kernel modules, but I kind of left that out because I want to make sure low-level user can run this without installing kernel modules. As a root user, yeah, we definitely could install that, and we can definitely code that in. But yeah, that's basically it. Like I said, the code is in GitHub, so if you want to look at that or mess around with it, feel free. The whole reason why we have this Python standalone is because containers usually will not have a lot of these dependency type stuff. So like GCC for your compilers, Python, whatever, it's really dedicated to whatever that pod was built for. So that's why you need standalone Python, so you can start interacting with your C2, in this case PowerShell Empire. And if we go back to the PowerShell stuff, its entire file structure follows Kali. So if we look at this one, like all the code's here, and it's really simple to read. So if you need to make a modification, I mean, it's here, right? But yeah, that's all I got for you. If you have any questions, feel free to ask.